Hi everyone! I've been using the Lady Comp now for 4.5 years and it's time to finally share what I really think about it. In this video, I'm going to share why I personally use the Lady Comp. I'm going to give my long-term review of the product as well as talk about the differences between the old model and the newer one. I'll include timestamps in the description in case you want to skip around to a particular part. So first, why do I use the Lady Comp? I was looking for an alternative to hormonal birth control, and at the time, the Lady Comp seemed like the best option. It's only natural that some women aren't comfortable experimenting with synthetic hormones. According to Dr. Kelly Brogan, women's health psychiatrist and author of A Mind of Your Own, synthetic hormones can effectively decrease the available testosterone and thyroid hormones in circulation, promote inflammation, and deplete critical nutrients and antioxidants. And if you're interested in any of that, I would encourage you to check out her book or do a little research on the topic yourself. To make a long story short, I opted out of all of that, and in July of 2013, I purchased this Lady Comp. I really like the prospect of being able to understand my own cycle and my own body much better. Plus, keeping track of my daily waking temperature has other benefits as well, such as knowing if and when I ovulated, and when to expect my period, and if my luteal phase is too short or there's any problems with that section of my cycle. Of course, you can track all of these things with a normal basal thermometer, but the reason I went with the Lady Comp is that it streamlines the entire process for you, and you don't have to chart anything, you don't have to track anything, you just have to take your temperature each morning and then note the color of the light to know if it's a fertile period or not. One last benefit is that this computer is useful for more than just preventing pregnancy, and it can be very useful for natural family planning as well. Now, just to be clear, the Lady Comp does not protect from sexually transmitted disease. It is only useful for preventing pregnancy, and that is why it's only recommended that you use the Lady Comp if you're in a trusting monogamous relationship. So that covers why I use the product. Now I'd like to share my actual review and opinion of this product. Would I purchase this again? Yes, 100 times yes. Although it's expensive, this is your all-in-one device. You don't need to remember to sync this to your phone. You don't need to open an app to see if you're fertile or not. You just take your temperature in the morning and then you check the light. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to decide anything for myself. The Lady Comp has a Pearl Index of 0.7, which means that it's 99.3% effective. And regular hormonal birth control ranges from a Pearl Index of 0.1 to 0.9, so it's well within that range, and I'm totally comfortable with those odds. And as a woman, I feel very empowered to know that the Lady Comp has that level of effectiveness, and I don't have to take synthetic hormones to get there. Now, this is the older model, which I used for about 4 years, and although I used it regularly and actively recommended it to all of my family and friends, it's not perfect. I did have a few issues with the older model. None of these things were deal breakers. If anything, they were just small annoyances. So with the older model, I found the size to be a bit of a problem. As a minimalist and someone who likes to pack light, this was generally just a bit too big for what it needed to do. I also found that it wasn't very user-friendly because it only has 3 buttons and you have to access all the functions of this computer by kind of memorizing which combinations of buttons to press, and I often found it confusing even after 4 years of use. Another annoyance I had with this product is that I could not extract the data without sending the device itself to the company in the United States, and since I live internationally, that just never seemed practical. Lastly, I found the alarm to be very loud and there wasn't any way to turn it down or adjust the settings, so sometimes I would wake up in a bit of a panic. So those were the few complaints I had about this device, and of course I never stopped using it or recommending it because the benefits of not using synthetic hormones every day far outweighed any inconvenience I was facing with this device. Now the good news is that they've since come out with a new version of this device, which you can see right here. Now the older one I did pay for with my own money about 4 years ago, and 6 months ago I reached out to the company and asked if they would send me the newer model so I could test it out and see if it's still something I would recommend. And after using this for about 6 months, I'm happy to report that all the issues I was having with this device have been resolved in the newer model. So now I want to talk about a few of the differences between the older device and the new device. So as you can see, the newer device is much smaller. It's a lot easier to fit this into my suitcase than the previous model. The newer device is also much more user-friendly with more menu options, and I was able to figure out how to do this without even looking at the instruction manual, which I never would have been able to do with the older model, so it really has come a long way. The old model used a wall charger. The new model has AAA batteries, and they do sell rechargeable batteries that you can purchase with the device. Now, one of my favorite things about this device is that you can connect it to your computer and extract the data. And of course you can get the raw data, like all the dates and the temperatures, but you can also simply upload it into their website and get a full analysis of your cycle and all your averages and a lot of really interesting charts and graphs that you can look at. Thankfully, there's several different alarm settings on the new model, and you can adjust the volume as well. So in closing, I'm really happy with the changes they've made to this new model of the Lady Comp. If you're interested in learning more about it, you can head over to their website where they have loads of information. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.